Welcome to your Mid-State Site Development Race Day CT weekend wrap-up from New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. 3 days of racing action here in Loudon concluded on Sunday with the running of the NASCAR Cup Series Dollar Tree 301. Sunday began in Loudon with big weather questions about the day, with a 2 p.m. scheduled start for the race. Rain started falling before noon. NASCAR kind of kept things on schedule, planning out a wet weather tire start. The first attempt at doing that was aborted, but after a brief delay, things got started, and the first 40 laps of the race were run with the wet weather tire, and by the time those 40 laps were done, the track was primarily dry. It certainly wasn't the start of the race that pole winner Tyler Reddick was hoping for. Reddick spun coming out of turn 4 to complete the first lap. Ryan Blaney was able to overcome an early pit stop and had the dominant car on the day. He went by Bubba Wallace on lap 228 and led the rest of the way to win the Dollar Tree 301 for the second consecutive year.
Race fans, how about it? Your winner of today's Dollar Tree 301 trophies. Let's lift it high, race fans. Your winner here today, the Dollar Tree 301, Ryan
Blaney! Yeah, I figured it was going to rain at some point of the race, just looking at the weather, and you know, those first 40, 50 laps, whatever it was, just try to survive them, you know, just try to not be a hero and do anything special, just try to get there, thinking the weather was going to clear up. And I think, you know, really the first time we were on slicks, I felt like my car was decent, but the track was still drying. So then started stage 2, when I got to second there with Josh, I was like, well, my car's pretty good. I think I can contend for the win and just keep tweaking on it all day. So once the track went full dry, I knew we were in the ball game, and just hoping it didn't rain from there, because I thought we were really good in the dry, and didn't want to have to deal with just trying not to crash in the wet. Well, I was aware of it for sure. Timmy was giving me gaps, and I tried to build a gap early in the run, knowing we were going to go a long way on tires, and I had 2, so just trying to manage them after I got out to, you know, a second or 2 lead. And then when I saw Bubba got to second on 4, I knew he was quick. And so I just tried to manage that for a little bit, and he started kind of creeping in like a 10th here, and I tried to pick it up a little bit, so that's eating a little bit more tire away, trying to just maintain like that 1.5 gap, and then getting to traffic, it's just had to pick through traffic, and traffic was tough because it was in like groups. It wasn't like 1 and then 10 car lengths in one, it was like 2 to 4 cars in a pod, in a pack, and it's like, oh man, you know, I'm just trying to work through them and trying not to mess up and just trying to find the cleanest air possible. And he was able to close in a little bit, but was able to get through that fairly decent. And but I mean, gosh, with 20 to go, kind of as I was working through traffic, I was starting to struggle. Like 2 was kind of fading. I couldn't really get off the corner as good as I wanted. My entry kind of started to go away. So I was just trying to maintain and not make a mistake, you know. And if Bubba got there, he got there, and we'll race it out. But I just didn't want to make a mistake, slipping into the corner or something, or overdriving it. But yeah, it was a heck of a battle. I look forward to rewatching it, kind of seeing him creep in, and hopefully the fans enjoyed the racing today. I thought it was pretty good, and yeah, fortunate for us, we were able to pick through the lap cars and hang on. You know, Bubba and I have been racing with each other since we were like 10 years old. You know, I mean, we've been racing together forever, and you know, been fortunate to grow up together, become, you know, remain really good friends over the years, and you know, have families together and things like that. And you know, there's no one there's only a handful of guys that are at that respect level for me out on the racetrack. You know, whether I grew up with them or just have that, and Bubba is one of those guys I have a ton of respect for, what he can do behind the wheel and just the person that he is and the friend that he is. So it's fun racing with your buddies, but at the end of the day, like, we are incredibly fierce competitors. We are going to race the hell out of each other, but you know that you can trust that person. Like, we're going to race really hard, but we're going to race clean, you know, so it's always fun to race with your friends, especially for the lead and things like that, and so that's pretty fortunate. Yeah. Well, I've said this for years, like, whenever I say those things on the radio after something bad happens, it's my relief valve. Like, I have to just get it out in the open, and then I get over it as soon as I say it. I just have to say it, or else I'll be stewing over it for a while. And that's just the way I have figured out how to just get over things. Like, I wish I wasn't that way, but it's just, I'd rather be that way than to have it in the back of my mind for the rest of the race and not be fully thinking on what the main goal is. So Timmy does a good job of, you know, having great reassurance when things happen, and just be like, all right, well, you know, we're gonna do this the hard way, you know, and it's just like, okay, that's fine with me. But yeah, I just have to get things out there and get them off my chest, and then I'm reset. So it takes me 5-10 seconds, no matter what it is, to move on. Here, before I was racing here, and watching on TV, you know, seeing those guys hold the lobster up, like I said it last year, I always wanted to do that. There's certain traditions at tracks around the country. They have their own little thing, and those things are really cool. And you know, you always want to there's things that catch your eye as a kid that you want to be a part of. So it's nice to have another one. You know, it's extra special when you can come back to a place where you're really competitive last year, and then just still try to improve. You know, how do you get better and better? Because you can't do the same thing 2 years in a row. You have to always improve because your competition is evolving and improving. So our group did a great job of kind of molding themselves into where we think is a better direction for our team, and then applying it. So, but yeah, it's special to win a couple of them here, just because I love racing around this place. The people here are fantastic. We always get great crowds at this place, and for them to stick around in the rain, you know, it's kind of a bummer on Sunday morning when it's raining, but they toughed it out and ended up being a beautiful day, and they got to see a great race. So appreciate the support up here.
Ryan Preece ran in the lead pack for most of the day, but he faded out of the top 5 to a 9th place finish over the final 40 laps of the event. Sunday's race was the second to last race before the NASCAR cutoff to set the 16 driver field for the playoffs. The last race comes next week at Daytona. Preece came into today's event sitting on the bubble in 17th place in the standings, 15 points behind Shane Van Gisbergen. Preece ended up cutting 19 points of that deficit away, but goes to Daytona hoping for a miracle, 31 points behind Shane Van Gisbergen, hoping to get the playoff spot.
It was almost going to be a home run before that caution came out and that last set of tires went on. I mean, I felt like we were just about to pull Bubba's pants down, so it was a lot of fun. I had fun racing and, you know, moving around, and that was a great tire. That was that was fun to be a part of that race. So for me, I wish that last run would have went better for us. That for whatever reason, that was just our loosest set of the day, and as you saw, it hurt us in the final 10 laps. So, but to look at the positives, I mean, look at where we were as an organization on short tracks outside of Martinsville. We have not been that great, and today I felt like Brad was really good on the long run. I felt like Chris was pretty good, and I felt like we were good on the short run, and that one run when we were coming at Josh and Bubba, we were really good. So, yeah, from a points perspective, I mean, drivers, we have a chance, a Hail Mary chance, but the owners, we have a real chance.
So that wraps up another weekend here in Loudon. Saturday it was Lane Riggs winning the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Team EJP 175. And it was John McKennedy winning in dramatic fashion in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Mohegan Sun 100. The Whelen Modified Tour returns to action on Friday at Stafford Speedway. Thanks for checking in on today's Mid-State Site Development Race Day CT News Update from here in Loudon. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons on the way out, and we'll talk to you soon.